Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Unfortunately, I don't have a landscape photography adventure for you this week. Hopefully that resumes next week. But I wanted to give you a quick update on where my channel's headed in 2021. Now I know it's probably February by the time you guys are gonna see this, and I probably should have done this at the beginning of the year, but it's now or never, so let's go. Now for those of you who follow me on YouTube for a while know that I release 2 videos per week. On Mondays, I have my landscape photography vlog, and on Friday, I have my interview show called Friday Night Behind the Lens, where I interview photographers from around the world via Zoom. But really, for the last couple of months, I've struggled with the format for both of them and what direction I want them to go in. You know, when I watch YouTube, I love the channels that are beautifully done with just amazing cinematography, beautiful B-roll and drone footage, but I also like the channels that are real too and raw. So, you know, after thinking about it for a while, I think that's the direction that I want to go. Yeah, I'm not much of a cinematographer, and I don't know if I want to put that much into it. What I want to focus on is, first of all, I'm a photographer. I want to get you the shots, and I hope that's what you're waiting for. But I also want it to feel like you're along for the adventure too. So if I slip and fall, or if I'm, you know, fall down in a rabbit hole, if I'm huffing and puffing because I've gotten fat and out of shape here during COVID, I want you to feel it and I want you to see it. So I think that's the direction my channel is going to go in, just a little bit more real and raw. Of course, I want it to look good too, but I also want it to feel like you're there for the adventure with me. And based on you guys' great suggestions from a couple weeks ago, I've already implemented 3 changes for my Friday Night Behind the Lens interview show. The first being is that I'm keeping the interview shorter, 15 to 20 minutes. I really want to retain the average viewer's attention just a little bit longer and drive them to go subscribe to that person's channel. Now, the second change I'm making is I'm going to overlay video from the person's vlogs just on top of when they're speaking where it's appropriate, just to make it a little bit more visually appealing. And the third change is that when I ask a question, I want the speaker, when they're answering the question, to be larger in the frame. And, you know, the focus should be on them and not on me, not on a split screen. So yeah, when I ask a question, I'm going to try to expand the view. That way they're large and the only person in the frame. So great suggestions. I appreciate your help and great feedback so far on the first 2 videos that have come out. So thank you guys for all your help. Really appreciate it. Now, as far as my camera gear goes, I'm not a person that really needs to run out and get whatever's hot. And I'm really happy with the actual cameras that I have. For my landscape photography photos, I use the Sony a7R III, which is a 42 megapixel camera. I don't really need more than that, so I have no plans on changing that anytime soon. For my portraits, I use the Sony a7 III. It's a 24 megapixel camera, but in my opinion, for most occasions, that's plenty for portrait photography. And for my vlogging, I'm using the Sony ZV-1, which is just an amazing little camera. And when I'm not using that, I'm using my GoPro Hero Black 7, which continues to get the job done. So really no plans to upgrade those anytime soon. Now, as far as lenses go, there are a couple Sigma lenses that I do have my eye on, so I'm not going to lie there. But I'm not ready to pull the trigger on buying those unless I have some major photography trip planned, and unfortunately right now I don't. But yeah, there are a couple out there that I definitely have been looking at. So if something comes up and we're allowed to travel again and we book something amazing, I'm definitely going to look into buying one of these new Sigma lenses that I've been looking at. Now, the one piece of camera kit that I definitely want to buy in 2021 is a drone. I know I said earlier I don't want to make my videos all cinematic, but look, I live in Florida, which is the flattest place in the world, and I don't have these grand vistas to be able to show you what I'm looking at. So I would like to be able to at least give you a different perspective on my surroundings. Also, my son Brennan, who's a bit of a gamer, has expressed interest in wanting to participate in making these vlogs. So I thought that was something he could do, and then he could teach me how to fly it for when he's not around. But I've read hundreds of reviews. I can't just get myself to pull the trigger on that. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave those below for me. Yeah, definitely the one big purchase that I do want to make this year in 2021 is a drone. All right, I don't want to talk about it, but let's talk about travel. Let's talk about what didn't happen last year. So my wife and I had a 2-week dream photography camper van trip to Iceland canceled pretty much at the last minute. And at the time, there was no travel restrictions or shutdowns here in the United States. So we rebooked, and we were going to fly to San Francisco and go up and down the Pacific Northwest coast, California, Oregon, and Washington. And the day before we were set to leave, canceled. And that was pretty much it for the end of the year, with the exception of a small camper van trip we took up to North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina. And that's where I got bit by the tick and contracted Lyme disease. So that wasn't exactly the best trip ever. And that was definitely it for the rest of the year. So by now we figured the USA and the UK would have gotten their crap together with this virus, and at the time of this recording, we're the two worst countries in the world pretty much. The UK is in total lockdown. We should be, but we're not, so we're just spreading the virus around everywhere. Our vaccine rollout was dubbed Operation Warp Speed, and it's been anything but warp speed, and it doesn't look likely that we're going to be able to take a trip to the UK this summer. And I do like to try to go once a year. I don't see it happening, at least not this summer anyway. I am so far down the list right now on the vaccine list. My wife's a little higher than me being a teacher, but yeah, I just don't see it happening. So my son, my younger son, who is next year will be his last year in high school, he's looking at a college out in Colorado. So now we're thinking about maybe flying out to Colorado this summer to go visit the university that he's looking at, which would be awesome. Anybody who's been to Colorado knows it's one of the most amazing places in the world. We used to live in the area, so we're very familiar, especially the area that he wants to go to college at. Yeah, if I can sneak in, 4 or 5 days of photography while we're there visiting the college, that'll be okay with me. In October, my dad lives out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they have the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. It's like the largest hot air balloon show in the world. So I might go out there in October, but only if I have my vaccine, because I want to do the right thing being around my dad, who's 71 years old. He'll be 72 at the time. So yeah, I don't want to go out there if I'm not protected and he's not protected. So right now, those are the plans. UK, maybe, probably not. Colorado is looking more and more likely. And then Albuquerque, New Mexico in early October. So fingers crossed for all of those or some of those. But yeah, right now it's just, everything's just so up in the air right now just because we can't get our crap together. And what else do I have going on? Oh yeah, I was contacted by 2 companies just completely out of the blue here recently. Basically, they want me to test and review their products. So yeah, I said, send me your stuff. One of them is really cool. One of them is a startup tripod company here in the US. And I just basically had to pick which model that I wanted to test and review. They're gonna send it to me when it's ready. And then I just test it and review it on my social media accounts. And then I get to keep the tripod. And after looking at the specs, it looks like a pretty decent tripod. So fingers crossed on that. The other one I don't have all the details on yet, so I don't really want to say anything about that yet. But yeah, I'm definitely about doing more of that kind of thing. So if anybody's watching, want to send me your stuff and you can handle my honest review, go ahead and send it to me. So anyway, hopefully some more fun stuff like that coming up in the future. So stay tuned for that. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed hearing what plans that I have, at least so far for 2021, for my landscape photography part of my business. I think more than anything, I'm just ready for vaccines to get in people's arms, people to get healthy, people to be a little bit more protected from this damn virus. And, ultimately for us photographers, the ability to travel a little bit more and schedule and book amazing landscape photography trips around the world or your country, wherever. Just ready for us to get healthy, protected, and get back to normal. And if you're joining my channel for the first time today and you liked what you saw, go check out some other videos too, because this is a landscape photography channel, and I'll be back next week with another adventure. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw. And everybody else, thank you so much for your support as always. Have a great week. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you again next Monday. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.